Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 3 of Ivy Off Script, where we share the unconventional journeys of Harvard students to elite spaces. And today we have a very special guest, Marta.
Hi.
So, fun fact, Marta is actually my PAFE. Now to uncode the Harvard language, a PAF is a peer advising fellow, so I'm a second year student and I help advise a cohort of first year students, and Marta is one of them, and that's how we met each other. And I thought, based on her unique background, she would be great to, join us in the pod. So just start off, Marta, by giving us a brief introduction of yourself.
Well, as Amelia said, I'm a first year. I'm from Spain. I come from an island called Mallorca, in the Mediterranean Sea. I'm planning on studying math and philosophy. That may change, but I'm pretty sure that's what I want to do right now. And yeah, that's the basic info, I guess.
Okay. Well, I want to go back to your high school experience, since I can imagine attending high school on an island might look a lot different from what high school would probably be like in the States.
Yeah. I mean, I went to a public high school in Palma, which is the capital of Mallorca. And well, I'm from a village in Mallorca, a small village. I started off high school there in the public high school, but then the last 2 years of high school I wanted to do the IB, International Baccalaureate. So the only public high school that offered it in the island was a small high school in Palma. So I had to go to that high school instead of my the close one. And yeah, I do think it was I loved it. It was I loved my high school experience, but it was hard, I would have to say, because as it was a public high school, I had to take both the IB and the national curriculum. So it was a lot of work all the time. But I did have pretty nice professors and classmates. So I'm happy with my experience. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. I would not to anyone, to everyone.
Okay.
sorry.
I was like, oh, you enjoyed it,
No,
but you
wait.
wouldn't.
I would recommend it to everyone. As in, it's not for everyone. It's for some people, but not for everyone. It's you have to be prepared for what it is. But it was nice. It was nice.
Were you one of the only students who decided not to go to your local high school and instead go to the one?
Yes. In our class, in the IB thing, we were 15 the first year and 11 on the second year, so 4 people dropped out. Yes, we missed them. And so it was 15 people from all over the island, because it was the only high school that offered it, so it was people from everywhere. And me and another girl from my other high school went together because we were best friends, and we're oh my god, we're gonna do it together.
Did she stay?
Yeah, wait, she did stay.
Okay.
She's studying back home in Spain.
Wait, nice. I was scared that she was gonna be one of the 4 who left.
No,
she was
yeah,
I'm done.
No.
Were there any moments where you faced regrets for pursuing a harder track?
Yes. Wait, yes. Actually, yes. Okay, so between junior and senior year, the summer between them, that was hardest time of my entire life, genuinely, because we had so much work to do for school. It was crazy. And then I was preparing SAT. I was preparing the college essays. It was I was doing other projects. It was crazy. And at a point I didn't think that I was gonna get in anywhere in the US. So I was did I just do it for nothing? It was a feeling of am I doing this, is this gonna pay off if I don't get anywhere, if I don't get in at a college I want to attend to. And it was just a feeling of I don't know if I should be doing this, but I think it paid off because I'm here, I guess. But now seeing it after finishing everything, I guess that even if I hadn't gotten into Harvard or another college I wanted to attend to, I feel it would have still I wouldn't have regretted it. But at that point, when I was actually doing the work, it did feel I was I took the hard choice and it was not paying off at all. But
right.
Yeah.
And did you know from a young age that you wanted to go to Harvard?
Yeah, wait, yes, actually I did. I feel like it was more of like from movies and stuff that I had the idea of like, oh my god, the American dream. Wow, I want to go to Harvard. I want to go to the US, study there, like college in America. It's like very different from back home. So I was like, it was like always a dream, but it wasn't, it didn't seem like an attainable dream. Because if, like back home, if you say, I want to go to Harvard, no, that's like not that's like not something people do, like where I'm from. It's just like, it's like a crazy idea to think that someone is able to go to Harvard, like from Mallorca to, no, it's like impossible. So even though like I always wanted to come, I never felt like it was a possibility for me to come. And then I started the IB on junior year, and I met a girl whose name's Mar. She graduated from Harvard a year ago or 2 years ago, I think last year, and she went to my school, and she was like from Mallorca. She literally had the same professors I did, so it just felt like there was a bit of hope after all for me, because before like meeting her, like I didn't even think that I was gonna apply to the U.S. because I genuinely thought that I was not gonna get in. So why would I lose time on that? But then I met her, and it was like, well, maybe I should. Like I know like the percentage of admitted students and stuff is low, but I was like, I should give it a try. But yeah, I always wanted, I've always wanted to come here. Didn't think it was possible, and then I did, and it was possible. So amazing.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned that it was not the traditional path. Can
Yeah.
you unpack that?
Well, I feel like for Spanish students to like go outside of Spain, it's very common to, if you're studying in, well, at least in Mallorca, it's like very common to like go to like bigger cities like Valencia, Barcelona, Madrid. It's like very common to like leave the island and go study like somewhere there. But you like don't usually leave Spain. Like when you say, yeah, I'm leaving home to go study abroad, you don't mean I'm leaving the country. Like people take it as, okay, you're gonna go study in Barcelona, which is like the most usual place to go study. But no one like if like no one's like, if you say I'm studying abroad, no one is gonna take it as, okay, you're gonna leave the country, because I feel like it's not like the usual way in Spain. Like everyone just stays home or close to home, I would say. And if you leave, it's probably like you're going to somewhere around Europe. So I feel like for people, like people don't imagine that you're gonna go study in the US, you're gonna go study in Canada, you're gonna go study like somewhere farther away. So I did get like a lot of not encouraging messages from people when I was like trying to apply. I felt like everyone saw it as like you're, a lot of people were like a bit too realistic, as in you're not gonna get in, like the possibilities are like really low, like I don't think you should try, blah blah blah. But I don't know, I like, that's what I mean when I say it's like not the usual path, because like people usually don't go up like outside of Spain to go like to study, so people just see it as like not possible.
Was this input coming from friends, family, teachers?
It was, I feel like it was more like of a general thing. Like I don't remember like a specific person that told me, no, you're not gonna get in. It was just like more of feelings you get when you tell people. Like when you like say, oh yeah, I'm applying to like Harvard, I'm applying to Yale, I'm applying in general to the US. Well, because I only applied to the US. Or you're like applying to any other country besides Spain. It's like a feeling you get of like people like they like
Do you think the idea was like, who do you think you are?
Yes, yeah, it's kind of like why, like people being like, why would you want to go to the US when we have a great education here? Like getting defensive over it, or like being like, why do you want to go to the US? Like, who do you think, like, why would you get in? Just like a general, like, people being uncomfortable with the idea of like you leaving, or like you like going abroad. Like, it was just like a feeling you get from like people when you talk about it.
Yeah. And when you heard this, was it a moment of like, I guess, what emotions did it ignite in you? Because in the past, when I've heard discouraging things, it's like I've had like a body reaction. Like I feel my heart sink and it hurts. Like, did you feel like it motivated you to try harder, or was it like, oh, like, why am I doing this?
I feel like for me it was the second one more than the first one. I feel like just like knowing that everyone, because I did have like a lot of people who like supported me a lot through it, and I'm like really like grateful for like all of those people. But at the same time, I feel like it was just like both of them, like the people who like supported me and the people who didn't support me, were both negative. But the both of them had like negative impact on me, because like the people who didn't support me was just like, maybe I should listen to them. Maybe I'm like not enough to like apply to Harvard. Maybe I'm like going in way over my head. I should just stay in Mallorca or go to Barcelona, which is the ideal, or something like that. And then the people who like supported me, for me, it was just like too much pressure. Sometimes I felt like kind of everyone was like not depending on me, but like everyone had a lot of expectations of what I could do with my future and what I would do if I got in. So it was just like too
Right. It's
much
like
sometimes.
everyone has like their own perspective,
Yeah.
and you're kind of like hearing the worst of it at times.
Yeah, it was just like, if I heard someone say, no, you're not gonna get in, you're like, no. Then it was like, oh my god, I'm scared, I'm not gonna get in. But if I heard someone, oh my god, you're gonna get in, then I was like, wait, what if I don't get in?
It's like,
and
no,
I'm
I better get
disappointed?
in.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
Okay. And since it seems like you were figuring out US applications alone, how did you navigate that? Because I think even coming from, I'm from New York City, which is like a lot of students there go to US colleges. I was still so confused. So it's like you're doing it for the first time. Like no one around you is like saying, hey, this is how you apply. Did you have like counselors at school who were helping you at
Okay,
all?
so in general, like no one has any idea back home of like what it's like applying to the US. So it was like kind of scary at first going into it. But it is true that I had like a really good counselor, that she had helped the other girl, Mad, who had gotten into Harvard. So she like had like an idea of what it was like to apply to the US, and I'm so grateful for her. Like she was like literally the like most helpful person ever. And she did like give me like a lot of like tips and stuff on how to apply. But beyond that, it was more of like watching videos on YouTube, learning on it, like reading about it, going over the Common App like 100 times. It was just like really like just going over stuff on your own, watching videos, talking to people. It was kind of scary because you like don't know what, one thing about the US is that you never know what they expect from you. Because back home, like when you get into college, you don't need to like apply as you do in the US. It's just like you send your grades and then they decide if you're in or not. So you like,
And you already have an idea based on your grades whether they're gonna take you or not.
like they give you like, okay, so if you get like above this grade, then you're gonna get in probably. So it was just like, I know what I'm like, I know if I'm gonna get in somewhere or not. But here, like you literally have no idea. You could have the best grades ever and not get into Harvard. You could have mid grades and get into Harvard because you have a lot of other stuff. So it was just like crazy. Like it was scary thinking that I could be doing a lot of stuff and still not get into Harvard, because I didn't know what they were expecting from me as an international student. It's like most of the stuff you read online is like based on US students. So it's just like, I don't know. I half of the time I didn't know what I was doing. But it was okay.
Yeah, I think that's a very common sentiment, even with like the other guests I've had on the
Yeah.
podcast, where it's, I mean, there's no formula of what's gonna get you in. I think it's just like there are ways to put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
I think that's like the best approach, but I can only imagine like you're coming from a Mediterranean island and it's like everyone's like Harvard, that's so foreign.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not gonna happen. I would assume you had pretty top grades, or I guess like talk more about your grades, activities, and what you were doing at the time.
I mean, I did like the first 2 years of high school. I got like really good grades. Then the last 2 years, IB, everything was piling up. I still got good grades like overall.
Talk to us about that exam you failed.
It was horrible. Wait, no. It was junior year. Yes, junior year.
Yeah.
Okay, I was taking a philosophy class, which was like required for everyone. I love philosophy. I'm majoring in philosophy, hopefully. So I was like, oh my god, I love this. Like I was like deeply like really interested in everything, and we had to write like an essay about a text. That was the whole exam. Like they gave us a text, we had to read it and write about it. Well, I thought I did an amazing job. I was like, wait, I'm so proud. Like, yeah.
You walk out of the test,
Yeah,
you're
I was
like,
like, oh my god, yeah.
just ace that.
And everyone was like talking about it. Was like, oh my god, it was so hard. And I was like, no, wait, I think you like had to read through it. It was like okay.
You're like, no, it's okay, honey. You just had to do this. Like you're like giving them the advice.
I was
you're
like so confident.
Yeah.
I was like so confident. I was like, yeah, wait, I think it was like pretty okay. Well, next week we go back to class. The professor gives out the exams. I got a 4.5 out of 10. Out of 10.
No.
Wait, yes.
Did he put like the paper down for you?
Wait, no. He called out our names and said the grade.
No.
Yes. No. Wait, yes. It was crazy. And I was like, so like imagine me. I was like in a class of 15 people who were all like pretty decent students because we were like doing
in the
IB.
hardest class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, okay, you got an 8, you got a 9, you got a 7.5. I got a 4.5. And I was like, wait, are you sure? Like, wait.
Run that back.
Did you like...
Four?
There was a second page. You maybe like read that. What's going on? And I was like, there's no way. And I failed that exam and it was like so crushing. I was like, oh my god. Like, at that point I was like, okay, I might just like drop the IB, go back to like home. It's okay. But no. It got me, I think it was like, it opened my mind, I guess. Not everything is about our grades. To be fair, I do think that it was a good exam overall. And I did my best. And then after I like learned why it was like not an amazing exam, why I didn't get like the perfect grade and all of that stuff, which was important. And it's just like you like sometimes being like, I've always been like a good student. Like I've never had like a hard time like studying for stuff. So it was like the first time that I was like doing everything I could and I still failed.
Right.
So that was like, what's going on? Yeah. So it was just like realizing that sometimes you can like do everything you can and still not like get the best results. And
I think also like now you're looking back at it from the vantage point of like now coming to Harvard. I think when you're in school, I remember how crushing it was. Like every exam I got so much test anxiety for because I wasn't competing against myself, but I also felt the pressure of my peers, right? Because they're all taking the same exams as you. They're all comparing their grades. You know, everyone's kind of being ranked on a system. And I think once you take a step out, like me, even at Harvard, this past exam I had, it was the first time I never had test anxiety. Because I feel like leading up to that point, I always just felt like it was me proving to myself that I was smart. And I was like, if I passed the test, I was like, okay, like, I can do it. But then but whenever I failed or it didn't go well, I was like questioning, like, am I worthy and stuff? So it is tough.
It is like really hard, like separating yourself from your grades, because like sometimes I feel like at least me, like I've kind of like always defined myself by my grades. Like I was always like, wait, she's like the smart person in class, like she's gonna help me with blah blah blah, she gets good grades. And it was always like a defining virtue of mine, I would say. So like once you like the first time you like actually get a failing grade, it's like, who am I? Like who am I if I'm not this, if I'm not like a perfect score? But I guess it just like leads you to like learn more about like yourself, like who you are like outside of the classroom, knowing that failing a test is like not gonna ruin your life or anything. Like it's okay. And sometimes you're like not the best at everything, and it's fine. Like it doesn't matter. Like I learned how to write other essays. My professor was kind of happy with my end result. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now we have an idea of who you were inside the classroom. Take us a step back into like what you were doing outside of class. And I can imagine like were you doing things with the idea of like, oh, when I apply to US colleges, this will look good? Or was it very authentic? Because I could imagine in your like in Mallorca, they're only focused on grades to go to higher education.
Yeah.
So you probably weren't the US mindset where these American students are thinking, I not only need to ace these exams, but I need to do this team, go on this club, like
Yeah. I mean like to be fair, like I only started like thinking about what I wanted to do for the US colleges in like junior year because it was like when I actually thought that I could apply to the US. So before that, I feel like all of my activities came to me like really naturally. It was just like more of like I want to do this because I want to. It's not because this is gonna look great if I write like this. No. So I've always played music. I was in the conservatory. Like I was really young, like
what
5 or 6.
instrument do you play?
I played a baritone, like
Ooh.
euphonium. Yeah, I started off with a trumpet actually. It was I don't like it.
You're like not for me.
Not for me. It's like way too high pitched.
Yeah.
I feel like people who play the trumpet are like.
Ooh, are you like dissing the trumpet
Yes,
people?
I am.
They have what's like their stereotype? I guess what's like the character archetype of a
They're
trumpet
so
person?
loud all the time.
I could see that because the
yes.
instrument is loud.
Wait, yes, they're like.
You should match the energy.
They're pick me. Trumpet
Okay,
people
so
are
the
pick me.
trumpet people are
Yes,
pick
they
me's.
are.
That's the moral of the story here.
Indeed. So I just changed to euphonium because it's like no one knows about euphonium. It's like so mysterious.
Oh my
so
gosh,
cool.
mysterious girl. Or
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So I played the euphonium. I also did theater when I was younger. Then I stopped.
So you were a theater kid.
I was.
Well, I was too.
Wait, amazing.
Yay!
It was really cool. I love theater actually, and also a big thing I did was Scouts Club. It's not like scouts as in
Like Girl
Well,
Scouts.
yeah.
Or
it's not like exactly the same. We don't have like the whole thing with,
the sash and like
we
the
don't do
costume.
that.
Okay.
but it is kind of like that. We just like go hiking, camping. It's pretty cool. What else did I do?
I think you mentioned once that you created like a cultural fest.
Yeah, that was actually like one of the top things in my
Okay, so
application.
let's talk about that.
Like the year before junior, like during sophomore year, I think, I was talking to like some people in my village who like are aspiring artists, I would say. Like they love singing, some of them do dance and stuff. So we're like talking about I guess how hard it is to like become someone in like the art world, coming from like such a small place, which is Mallorca. Like it's hard to like become someone coming from like such a small place when there's like not as many opportunities to like go produce music somewhere or like dance with important like singers or something like that. So we're just like talking about it, and I guess I like for me like art is really important, and beyond that like my culture back home, like so I just thought about like creating like a small thing where like people could showcase their art, showcase their like whatever they wanted to show to the people, make a name for themselves, and at the same time also like sharing art, like the Mallorcan culture to like young people. And it's just like very important to me to like give everyone like a chance to like express themselves, because I feel like sometimes it's pretty hard, and like even more so in like the art world. Sometimes when you like, I feel like back home people judge a lot when you're like when you have to play an instrument, you like dance or something. It's just like people see you as like, oh my god, you're a weirdo, like you should go play soccer or something. It's like you should go do that. So I feel
Is it because they don't see the relevance of art? Is that
yeah,
why?
I feel like
and it's not like a priority in the culture versus like maybe a very popular sport like soccer or like football as you call it.
yeah, I feel like our culture is like very artistic overall, and with like over time we've been like forgetting our culture even more and more and more. So with that, like with the fact that we're forgetting our culture, we also like kind of forget art in general, and a lot of people focus more on like some like sports or other stuff, or like I don't know, video games. I don't know. So I feel like giving space for like talking about our culture, art, music, sculpture, poetry, writing. It's like a very important thing for young people, even more back home, because I feel like it's hard to succeed in art because people just don't care about it as much as they used to. So I just created like a small organization for young people to like be able to do stuff and show their
Okay.
Yeah.
So by the word organization, was this something that was like a registered nonprofit or
Yeah, it's like a registered nonprofit where we like do several activities. Like the big ones are usually like concerts where we like you pay stuff and then the money goes to other organizations, or you like just do some art showcase, or we do like we tell stories in the like public libraries with like theaters. It's just like where you like just art stuff where people like can join and participate. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and did you build this alone?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did have like a lot of help from other people, but
But
overall,
it was like your idea, like you're the one who
Yeah.
carried all the way through.
Yeah.
So during the first weeks, what led you to go from thinking, oh, this could be cool, to like actually registering for it and making it a thing?
well, I feel like it didn't start off as like something I wasn't like thinking about registering this.
You
as
were
a
like, oh,
nonprofit.
this is gonna be a nonprofit, like
Wait,
off the
no,
bat,
that was
let me
like
get it
that
registered.
wasn't even in my mind. At first I was like, wait, maybe we should like do a showcase and maybe you can like paint art in this part of the town and I'll be giving out a concert here. You can recite your poetry. In this part I'll like talk to the like the town hall and like they'll probably like lend us like some spaces. They'll like publicize it in the Instagram, blah blah. So I was like, yeah, maybe we can like do something cool because I was generally surrounded by people who wanted to show what they did. So we did that first, and then I was like, wait, this was low key like successful. Like people came to see us, people loved it. So after that, we just like started doing more and more stuff, and then I was like, we should give this a name. We should like register this, and I did as a nonprofit, and it's still like going now. Not as much because I'm not back home, but we do still like do stuff over the summer and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
And were there any moments at the beginning stages where you felt like scared to pursue your idea, or did you feel any lack of motivation at the beginning because there wasn't something tangible to like show like, oh, this is gonna work?
I feel like I was scared because like it at first it seemed like performative. If you know what I feel like when you say, well, yeah, I'm gonna do this project, people are like, what are you doing? Like, just go back to whatever you do. Like, just go back to, I don't know. So people see it sometimes as like, why is this girl doing this? Like,
Why is she trying?
Yeah,
to,
why is
like,
she even trying?
Change
like,
it up.
bro,
Yeah.
just like go study. So like, I
Go back to the library, girl.
yeah,
Like,
I don't know. So I feel like at first it was like, I don't know, should I be doing this? I'm like, what am I doing? But I like genuinely thought that it was something that I wanted to do. So I was like, I should do it. I don't care. So I just like talked to people, and for the most part it was like positive reactions. Not everyone, but for the most part it was. So I was like really happy about that. So I just did it. I guess.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a testament to, I mean, whenever, even, I guess, like, the babysitting and tutoring service I run now, that was one of my, like, I would say, like, key features of my Harvard application. When I started it, I never actually ended up registering it for a nonprofit thing. But when I wrote about my application, it was nonprofit. Like, you don't need to make it, I would say, like, when you start, it doesn't have to be this official, like, name
Yeah.
brand thing. You just have to prove the concept first, get people on board, and that's...
Yeah, I feel like actual things don't start off as like actual things,
Right.
you know? Like
And it's
they
easy.
start off as ideas, little
Yeah.
projects, stuff, and then you make it like an actual like nonprofit or
Right.
something.
And it's hard to see that because you look at these big brand names and you think, oh, they've always kind of been there.
Yeah.
So you don't think of like, oh, everything actually just starts from like word of mouth and then it starts like organically growing until you can put a name on it. And
Yeah, that is true. But I feel like everything starts off somewhere.
yeah. Okay, and what would you say to any student who has a passion project in mind and they're not sure where to start, where they fear the judgment of other people and the criticism?
I feel like you just don't have to like if you like actually have a passion for the project you're doing and you actually want to do it not because you want to look good for college applications, like because you like actually care about what you're doing, then it's gonna work out. One way or another, it's gonna work out because you're putting in the work for it. And I don't mean it's gonna work out as in it's gonna become the biggest. I don't mean that because that's not. No, that's not
It's
gonna
not
happen.
realistic.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
realistic, and that's probably not gonna happen. Or maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But even if it doesn't become the biggest thing ever, just like getting the least out of it is gonna like be really rewarding because you like actually care about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I started Smarts for Heart, the babysitting and tutoring service I mentioned, I think by the time I applied to colleges, we had like 6 families that we connected with, which is nothing crazy. And
But it's something.
but it's something, and I
Yeah.
think at that time we raised $2,000, which maybe sounds like a lot to some people, but like if you're in the world of like business and raising money, you're like, girl, that's like pennies basically. But that being said, it was a big defining part of my application because it shows that you're proactive and you're acting on something that you're passionate about.
That's
so
the most important thing.
you can, I guess, can you like tell us about how when you were, I mean, I think I don't really know like if college admissions officers are, I think nowadays it's tough because people, you can make up things, right? You can kind of fluff it up. You can take something that your parent handed down to you. You can say that you had a higher leadership than you did. Like not every officer is gonna like fact check everything you say, but I think it comes across as authentic when you're first of all honest about the growth of it. And so I guess in your applications, how did you write about this activity? Was it a main part of your essays?
Actually my like Common App essay like was about
Your personal
this.
statement?
Yeah, my personal statement was like about this.
Okay.
And I feel like it wasn't like really like when you read it, you're like, wow, oh my god, this girl's like gonna be super famous. She's gonna have the biggest nonprofit app. No, because that's not true. So I feel like I was just very honest, like throughout the whole essay about like what I did and why I did it. And I feel like that's like part of what they're looking for in college admissions. Just like someone who's honest, who has initiative, who's like driven, and who wants to actually do stuff. Like who wants to like build anything and who's actively trying to do so.
Yeah.
I don't like think you need like
you don't need to change the world
yeah.
or make something that's bigger than someone else's thing, you know?
You're an 18-year-old. You don't need to be a millionaire. You don't need to like cure cancer.
Yeah.
It's okay. You just need to show that you're actually passionate towards something.
Yeah. And now coming to Harvard, do you feel like your perception of what success looks like is different? Because I know we're talking about this as in like follow your passion, just be passionate, show initiative. But I think it's easy when you come to elite schools, the expectation is you're going to use this education as a platform to build your own wealth or create like really great impact across the world.
I actually had like a whole breakdown about this during like senior year because like I thought that once I had got into Harvard, everything would be like done. Like
right, it's like it's
like,
kind of like when you look at a goal and you're like, if only I attained that, then it's like my life would be breeze.
I literally thought that okay, if I get into Harvard or like any other Ivies, like I'm gonna be done for the rest of my life. Like
set,
yeah. And then I actually got into Harvard, and I was just like succumbed with like this feeling of like, what do I want to do with my life? Like okay, and I'm going to Harvard. So what? Like
right, like what am I gonna do with that?
So I feel like when I started telling people that I was like attending Harvard in the fall, everyone was like, oh my god, you're gonna, at that time I wanted to study physics, so people were like, oh my god, you're gonna become an astronaut, you're gonna
You're gonna be on TV going to the moon,
Yeah,
like,
everyone was,
yeah.
giving like crazy, it was like, you're gonna become a millionaire, you're gonna like become the next president, you're gonna like crazy
So they're
things.
feeding these ideas of like, oh, like now we have this expectation for you because
Yeah.
you got this opportunity.
Exactly. So like
and you're
everyone was
privileged.
like, oh my god, like you have the potential to do like great stuff because you're at Harvard. You're gonna like have so many doors open for you for your future, do like some amazing stuff. And at that point I was like, maybe I don't want my future to look like the common success. Maybe I don't wanna be the next president. Maybe I don't wanna go to the moon. And that's not wrong.
Yeah.
Because for me, like I had before getting to Harvard, for me it was okay. Either I'm going to an Ivy League school in the U.S. or I'm staying home, going to like community college. That was like those were my two.
It's like two like
I know.
opposite ends.
Those my.
It's like the top #1 school in the world, or just my local school
Yeah.
around the corner.
That was what I had in mind. So when I actually got into Harvard, I was like, I love the opportunity because I love learning and I love the opportunity of going to one of the best schools in the world, learning from like professors who like really love what they're doing, really know what they're doing. It's just like the most amazing opportunity ever. But I don't like I just needed to realize that just because I'm here and just because I can do anything I want after this, I don't owe anything to anyone because of it. So even if people think that I can become a really great mathematician or that I can do anything, I don't need to. Because if I don't want to follow that success path that we all have in mind, then I don't need to, because success for me might just be going back home to Mallorca where I love it, where I love my island, my culture, my language, and just be a regular high school student. Like, not student, professor.
Go back to high school again.
I loved it too much. So, yeah, I just feel like success is different for everyone. And just because we are at Harvard, it does not mean that I'm going to go out and become someone successful.
Right, like someone else's vision of success.
Yeah. I just want to follow my vision of success, which might be going to the moon. I don't know, but
right. But it's doing something that's fulfilling for yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, at that point, like when I had gotten into Harvard, it was just like everyone was like expecting something from me. As like she got into Harvard. She's gonna do something great. It's what people think about Harvard students. And for a great percentage, it's true. Like, people who are at Harvard end up being...
There's a higher ratio of people who go on to...
do amazing stuff, and that's amazing. Yeah, I agree. But there's also other people who are here to get an education and then go follow their own path, which may not be the conventional success. May just be living a simple,
point life.
Yeah. And that's also fine. And I feel like just us Harvard students, there's a lot is expected from us, and not all of us want that.
Yeah. And so this seems like the pressure that people on the island were giving you. Now, you come to Harvard, you're here. You know, the first weeks of school start. Do you feel like that those expectations are perpetuated by your classmates, peers?
I do think so, yeah. I feel like, well, now not as much, but at least, like, during the first few weeks, like, everyone was, like, applying to clubs. Everyone was, like, already talking about summer internships.
Right, and
first week of school.
Applying to clubs is not like, oh, let me just submit my app, let me just show up for a meeting. Some of them are completion-based, where you show up to meetings, you're part of the club. There's other ones where it's like, they make you spend hours working on a pitch deck, and then they'll give you, like, 12 hours to work on something while you're also starting classes for the first time. And some of these clubs are actually, like, probably the acceptance rate of Harvard itself. So it's like you get to Harvard, you're already like, whew, made it here, and then it's like to do something, you have to keep working, keep doing it. Okay.
So I feel like that was, everyone was like, I just like, I don't even know how to explain it. Everyone was like doing a lot of stuff, and it makes you feel like you're behind all the time because you see people who are like doing amazing things, and you're like, oh my god, wait, I need to catch up.
Can you name one of the things that you, like vaguely that you've seen?
I have a classmate who's like in like literally like all of the clubs you can imagine. He's doing consulting, he's in debate, he's like doing PBHA, he's doing everything, like everything. And like he has an internship for the summer. He's like working right now at the Harvard shop, I think.
Oh my god, yeah. I used to be a manager of the Harvard shop, which is why I love that.
So it just makes you feel like so behind all the time. At least like coming from like a place where like academically I stood out as a student back home, then coming here you're surrounded by amazing people who are like
Top.
top of the entire world, and it's crazy. Sometimes you like compare yourself to them, and you just want to keep doing, and you then realize that you sometimes don't even know why you're doing stuff. You like just want to come for this, come for that. What am I doing?
When did that realization hit you, when you were trying for something and then you were like, this isn't aligned with what I want to do?
I feel like it got to a point last I applied for like a lot of stuff last semester, a lot of clubs. I felt like everyone was doing it. So
it's like that FOMO. It's like the fear of missing out.
And I had to do it as well.
Totally felt that my first semester.
And also I had to like look for my future. I had to come for stuff because then I'm not gonna get this job if I don't get this.
And that's
experience.
the anxiety where it's like, if I don't get accepted by these 20-year-olds hosting this club, then my summer internship is gonna mess up, and then I won't get a job. It's like this compounding anxiety and doom.
Yeah, exactly. So then I feel like it was like maybe Thanksgiving or something, and I just realized that half of the clubs I was in, I just didn't see why I was in them. I started in a consulting club. I'm not even into consulting. I don't want to do consulting with my life. I hate it. Not like I'm not dissing on anyone who loves consulting.
But you're like, this is not for me.
It was just not for me, and I didn't even know why I was in there. Were
you working a pitch deck one night and you're like, what am I doing?
I remember opening my computer. I just saw what I was working on and I was like, why? Why am I doing this? Like, I've never in my life thought that I wanted to be a consultant. No. But
then you come to Harvard and it's like, all of a sudden it's you become finance, corporate, medicine, yes. Or it's like you're gone. Like, there's no other option.
There's just like, everyone knows what they want to do. Everyone is into finance, consulting, medicine, pre-med. You're like surrounded by people who like know exactly what they want to do and know exactly what success looks like for them. So you follow them as if you're gonna find what you want in their path, when it's not true at all. So I just, at the end of the semester, I dropped out of whatever I didn't like, and this semester I'm like starting to do some things I like, still figuring it out. So yeah, there's like a lot of pressure here at Harvard as well, but I feel like it's more of an internal pressure than not. Like, no one's like judging you necessarily, but you feel like the fear of missing out, which is so easy to feel when you're in an enclosed social environment. Yeah. I feel like there was a difference back home. It was like people telling me, oh my god, you're gonna be amazing, you're gonna do great things. And here is more like you see people doing great things and you think that you have to be like them. But sometimes doing great things does not look the same for everyone. So it's just a different kind of pressure that you put on yourself while you see other people doing stuff that you maybe could do, but that doesn't mean that you want to do them.
You're dropping a lot of gems in this conversation. No, I love this because I experienced the same thing. Like, I came here, never thought about finance, didn't even know what consulting meant, and all of a sudden I was applying to a club where I applied to this venture capital club. And I didn't even know what venture capital was going into the interview. Like, I couldn't tell you, like, what it is. And they're like, A seed, seed B, seed. Like, I was like, what seed? Like, where are you finding the seed guy? You know? So I completely relate to that. And coming to Harvard, what were your expectations about the peers? About, like, your peers, how they would be? What came true and what didn't?
Okay, I feel like my opinion of Harvard was, like, completely based on movies. Like,
Right, which is like so false because it's like it's like
so
basing
false.
your high school experience on Euphoria. Like
that's
not gonna happen.
It was like so wrong. I just felt like I was coming to like this really private, prestigious institution, which I mean technically it is, but like I felt like I was gonna be surrounded by like millionaires and just like crazy rich people, like super arrogant people. Not like I just felt like that was gonna be it. And then I actually got here. I did pre-orientation FIB for internationals, and it was the most opposite thing of what I had imagined. Just like regular people who had the same dreams I had, people who like I could actually relate to, who came from like the most diverse backgrounds ever. The not only culturally, economically as well. It was just like like the opposite of what I was thinking I was gonna find, and it was amazing. I actually during that first week for pre-orientation, I found like some amazing people that I like could actually relate to, who were sharing the same thing I was sharing, and it was amazing. And then I also during the regular orientation week, I met a lot of Americans as well, not only internationals, and it was also amazing. I thought that I was gonna find just other type of people, but I didn't, and I'm so grateful for that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you met people who fit the stereotype at Harvard?
Yes, I have. I feel like I found people who fit like the economical stereotype, but not the social stereotype, which is nice.
Like they're not like gonna brush you off.
Yeah. But I've also met people who fit the entire stereotype perfectly, and they're not the nicest people to be around sometimes, whenever. And I remember one time I was like surrounded by like a group of people after one of my philosophy classes, and I just felt so out of place because they were like talking about how they celebrated their birthday last year. We were like talking about it, and they were just I didn't even know what to say. They were like, yeah, I took a trip with my private jet to Miami. I was like, yeah, Dubai. I was mind blown. And I felt so out of place. Because they were like bragging about it too. Like, I don't care if you have money and you use it to
fund your luxury trips.
Yeah, like you can do that, but they were like
openly like
it was a terrible conversation. I felt so out of place. And then I was like, yeah, I just invited a couple people to my house, had a small gathering, drank a couple of juice,
picked up some juice from the local shop, and then just
blew out the candles, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
And it was like you could like notice their judgment when you were like talking from another perspective, I guess. And it was terrible. Yeah, I would not recommend. But that's only happened to me once. Like that's not the Harvard experience at all. I don't want
perpetuate that.
Yeah, I don't want this to seem like that's Harvard.
Yeah.
No, that's not Harvard at all. I feel like that's a very small minority of people.
No, I feel like when I went home, people asked me, so what is it like being around those like elite students? And I was like, really? Because even the people who met that stereotype, who had a private jet, and that was my first time I met someone for the first time last year whose family had a private jet, and it like I was like, this life exists. Like it was eye-opening, but the person never like it didn't change my judgment of her because she was really sweet and kind.
Yeah,
like
that's what you normally find at Harvard.
Right. I think it was like a one-off experience, but that being said, no matter where you go, you can find pricks. Like
yeah, you find nice people, even if they're like regardless of where they come from or what their family has in their bank account, you normally find nice people, decent people.
Yeah. And do you feel like, I feel like for me, everyone I come across, no matter how different their background is, it's like, they're honestly like really sociable, kind people. Yeah. And I feel like maybe the interview part of Harvard kind of like filters that out. And you said that, I remember you talked to me how the interview was one of like the best parts of your application.
I loved my interview.
Can you talk about like, did you prepare for it? Was it like organic? Was it in person, online?
I was like really nervous at that point. I didn't know.
The interview was like the boundary between going to the U.S. or going to your community college.
Yes,
it's like one or the other.
Oh my god. I didn't have any idea of like what it was gonna be like. And I remember I was actually in like music school at like during my interview I like reserved a like small like space for me to do the interview because I didn't have time to go home because I had like a lot of stuff going on. So I was like in there preparing. The Wi-Fi was terrible. I was like crashing out. I was like so nervous. And then this like lady popped up on my screen. She was like so nice to me. And I had seen like a lot of videos of what Harvard interviews looked like. And they were like, they're gonna ask you a bunch of questions. They're gonna ask you what you read, what you don't, what you're into. And I was just so prepared. I had like some small notes on like a paper.
Some post-its like coming through.
Just like stuff. I was like, oh my god, I have to say that I read this. I have to say that I'm doing this. And I was so nervous. And then I started talking to like this lady who was from Italy, and it turned into a conversation. I didn't have the feeling of it being an interview. At first, it is true that she was like asking me about like some stuff I did, what I wanted to study, some stuff like this. But then she asked me about what I was reading right now, the book I was reading. I told her about it, and I was reading a philosophy book at the time, and it literally just turned into a philosophy debate about my opinion on like existentialism, her opinion on it, and it was so fun. We just had like a conversation. It was amazing. I loved it. I would actually talk to her again. I miss her. I miss her. What can I say?
Yeah, that's incredible.
But I was really nervous for it. And
Yeah.
I do feel like I was lucky because I just thought like we got along really well. I did another interview for Princeton, I think. And that was kind of bad. That's why I'm here, I guess, not at Princeton. What can I say?
Was it between Princeton and Harvard, or did you
Wait,
apply to
no,
most of the Ivies?
I applied to, well, I got into Yale early action, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then
Wow.
after that, I was like thinking of applying to other colleges, but then after getting into Yale, I reduced my list by a lot, and I applied to Princeton, Harvard, and Stanford.
Wow.
Yale.
Okay. What motivated you to keep applying after getting to Yale?
Okay, to be fair, Yale, okay, in my class, we were 15, as I said, and 4 of us were applying to the US because it was like international, so like it was like the only 4 people in Mallorca who were applying to the US. So all of us wanted to go to like an Ivy League or something like that. So during early action, we just like kind of chose one each because we knew that the chances were like much higher if we didn't apply to the same one. So even though I wanted Harvard, another like a friend of mine wanted Harvard, so I was like, all yours. Like you.
It's like you get Harvard. I'll just stick with
Then
Yale.
another girl did Princeton. A guy did Stanford, and I did Yale. So it was like Yale was not my first option. My first option was actually Stanford. So after getting into Yale, I was like so hyped up. I actually love Yale. I was like looking at videos too, and then I was like, I feel like if I don't apply to like
I'll like regret not
I'll
knowing.
like regret it. Like if I don't get it, it's like completely fine because
you
Yale
have this.
is amazing.
Did your friend get into Harvard, by the way?
No, she didn't. Yeah, it's okay though. She's happy now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like,
Let me give it a shot.
I already have like half of the application done.
Right.
Like it doesn't take that much to like write a couple more essays. So I just applied to those 3 other colleges and then got into Harvard. Was like the most happy I've ever been.
When did you, well, like set up the scene? Like when did you find out? Who was around you? Did you like hide it from everyone at first?
Wait, I actually did not hide it from anyone. I was like,
You're like, I got into Harvard.
I got into Harvard. Like it was like for me it was like 1 a.m. when decisions came out. 'Cause of
Right,
the time difference.
difference.
So it was like 1 a.m. I was reading like this. Like it was so crazy. I remember opening and I opened Princeton first, got rejected, and I was like, it's okay, I guess.
I don't want to go there
I
anyways.
don't want to go. Then I opened Harvard and I was like, oh my god, I got into Harvard. I started calling my friends, oh my god, I got into Harvard. My family was with me. I was like really happy. They were like really happy too. I called my teacher at 1 a.m. in the morning.
And they picked up?
Yes, they picked up.
Oh, they were wild
Like,
in.
yeah.
To be up at 1
I was
a.m.
like, oh my god, I did Harvard. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. You're so helpful for everything. And then the next day, I was going camping with some friends. So I was like so happy.
Like
so
you're in
happy.
cloud 9, you're like,
Yes,
oh
I was
my
like,
gosh.
oh my god, life is great. I'm camping with my friends. I'm going to Harvard. And then the next day I opened the Stanford and I got rejected as well. And I was like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
But that's okay. So I was like really happy. for going either to Harvard or Yale. At that moment, I didn't.
It's so funny
know.
because you're from this tiny island, and you're living the U.S. movie experience where it's like, do I choose Harvard or Yale? Realistically, knowing none of those high school students from the movies would ever get into these schools, right? Because it's like, they never study and they're always partying, you know?
That's
so now
like
you're
so
like
rage baiting. Like, no, don't study. Why? How? How are you
no,
doing
they make
that?
it look so easy when it's not. So at this point now you're like living the American dream. You're like,
Yes.
well, Harvard or Yale. So what are you thinking?
I feel like when I knew that I had gotten into Harvard, for me, in my head, it was like I had already made the decision about coming to Harvard. Because I had always wanted to come to Harvard, and it was just like...
I think Harvard is the most internationally recognized.
That is true. Wait, actually I have a fun fact about this. Okay, I got into Yale early action, so I told my family and stuff. And one day I got like this message from my uncle, and he goes, "Congrats on getting to Yale." Like Jale, which is a university in Germany, which I didn't even know about. He goes, "You're gonna have so much fun learning German," and I was like, I don't think you understand. And I was like, "No, I'm going to Yale, like in the U.S." And he goes, "What is that?" So
Wait, no, that's so true because in my family's from Malta, which is another actually island in the Mediterranean Sea.
Yes.
I didn't grow up there though, but I remember I was like I don't even know, like they if I said I was going to Yale, unless you were in like the Gen Z population, no one knows.
No.
And even my grandparents, one side of them knew what Harvard was, the other side we called and we're like, I got into Harvard, and they're like, what is that? Like what?
Yeah, I feel like Harvard, like most people know about Harvard because it's Harvard, but like other Ivies, no,
they're not
as
gonna
much.
hear Dartmouth, like just naturally like
So
around the U.S.
yeah, I just feel like I had like already made up my mind, but I did like take into account other things, financial aid and everything, and it was like a longer decision, but I don't know. I feel like
And ever since coming here, have you ever had any moments of regret, imposter syndrome, or has it just been smooth sailing?
Imposter syndrome hits hard actually. I remember last semester I was taking like a class.
Some really tough classes, by the way. Not like easy math classes. Like she would tell me what she was taking, and I was like, I can't help you. Like I was like, I wish, but I can't. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I was like, I remember like last semester I was like in my math class, and I sat down by this guy, and he was like telling me about I don't know what, and like an international math Olympiad that he had won, and I was like,
on the first day.
Yeah, like the first week or something like
that.
that.
Oh my gosh, that's what I would expect coming to Harvard. It's like someone beside me, Olympiad, national debate champion, and I'm like,
that's like what you expect. And I was like, oh my god, I don't think I fit in. Oh my god, everyone's like so much smarter than me. Like I generally feel like, oh my god, like what am I doing? Like they made a mistake. I'm not supposed to be here. But I feel like that goes away, and you just realize that everyone has their own thing. Like maybe someone's really cracked in math, which that's amazing. Someone's really good at dancing, someone's does music. So everyone has their own thing, and I try not to compare myself to others because being at Harvard, if you compare yourself to others,
you never be happy.
Yeah, no, you're never gonna be happy because people here are like extraordinary in like so many different ways.
Yeah, and I think you can either use that to feel worse about yourself or just feel inspired.
I feel like it's like the fact that I'm surrounded by extraordinary people means that maybe I'm too. Maybe I'm okay too, you know? Like it's okay. Like we all deserve to be here because of something we've done or something we're gonna do. So I just try not to think about it negatively, I guess, because that would be really negative.
No, yeah, in comparison is like it's super easy. Even going back to high school, right? Like this teacher of yours is calling out grades. It's kind of like when like when you're in an enclosed social bubble, you're gonna naturally think of some like scaling system or think like if I'm not doing the same or more than them, then I'm falling behind. As you said earlier on, I think it's something that I've had to come to terms with. I think when I first came here, I had to prove to myself like I deserve to be here. I had to keep like earning my spot mentally until I realized like actually like no, like I don't owe that to myself or anyone. I mean, owe that to anyone to like prove like why I'm here.
Yeah, I feel like we all have like this constant urge to prove ourselves and to prove like that we deserve to be at Harvard because, well, it's what I said, like we don't feel like the typical Harvard student stereotype that most people have in mind. And I just feel like that's so outdated. Like Harvard has progressed a lot and everyone's different. Everyone comes from different places. And if you're here, you deserve to be here. Yeah. Like you have done something to get yourself here.
I think also when you know you've come from an unconventional background, you can almost be like, oh, and I did it coming from this starting point, right?
Yeah, I feel like the fact that maybe, like, if I compare myself to others, then, like, objectively, they're, like, the things they've done are better in some way.
Like, tangibly or, like,
yeah, like,
visually, like, okay, that looks more impressive.
Yeah, that's, like, they're more impressive than what I've done. But that's the thing, you have to take into account, like, where everyone's coming from, what they, like, who their family is, or the opportunities they've had, or something like that. And I feel like that's why you cannot compare yourself to other people at Harvard, because everyone has like their own little thing, and everyone comes from really different places. So
yeah, Harvard's not trying to do copy like cookie cutter students. They want people who maybe like love whatever instrument you play. I can't even remember it, right? Or like create this incredible like cultural, like go back to their cultural roots, and then someone else who's a national debate champion, right? But they're not trying to copy and paste the debate. They want
like the diversity that comes to Harvard. That's why we're all here. So we should not compare ourselves, because if we did if Harvard did that, they would all just like have.
It'd be a bot. They just have bots coming here because it's like
the same person over and over and over again. Yeah, which would be terrible.
Okay, so to wrap up this wonderful interview, I want to give you a chance to kind of like speak to, I mean, you're the first international guest I've had on this podcast. And I think especially, like, I came from New York City, and even then I felt like I couldn't apply, right? And that's kind of crazy because New York City is like home to these private schools, like top schools, whatever. I couldn't imagine coming from an island. And I think since my family is from an island country, I would actually meet some like Maltese people, and they'd be like, you go to Harvard? And I'm like, you right? It's like almost that same like you're the first Maltese person I've ever met who not only goes to like a top US college but Harvard itself, right? So what would you tell international students who come from local villages or just like small island populations who don't know anyone in their vicinity who pursues higher education, goes to a school like Harvard? What message would you want to leave with them?
I feel like sometimes living in like such a small like island or village, it's kind of isolating. You don't see, like, you don't have as many opportunities as other people do. And I would just say that you have to try. Like, you genuinely just have to try, even if it feels like you're gonna fail. Most times you're gonna fail, and that's the truth. And that's okay. I feel like everyone has to fail to reach an actual like final like destination. So I feel like just try and don't feel like you're isolated from the world. There's always gonna be someone there for you, and someone who is also trying to do what you're trying to do. Just like keep trying and don't feel like you're behind on anyone, because you're not. You just have other resources. You have to take advantage of them, and you're not less than anyone just because of that.
Yeah, I think a big part of your story is that you actually met someone from
that is a big part.
From your village who showed you that it is possible. And that's what inspired me to start this podcast, is to show people from unconventional backgrounds, like, oh, there's someone who's like you in some way who's done it.
Yeah.
So what's stopping you from doing the same?
I feel like that's very important. I feel like if I hadn't met Mad, I would have had like such a hard time applying. I don't even know if I would have applied, to be honest. But like seeing people who come from like similar backgrounds as yours try and succeed at something is definitely like inspiring for other people. So you should all try, and maybe we'll see each other next year. Who knows?
Yeah, we can all have a party, guys. Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap up the session here, but thank you again, Marta, for also your patience setting this up. You don't know this, guys, but it took us an hour to get this set up due to technical issues. But yeah, it was lovely having you. Thank you for being the first international guest on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.